so no surprise there. And there we go. Are we going to get our first Static Shiv LeBlanc? Now, the first place I saw it was Bobchin on Twitter, and he is a Team Liquid streamer. So I was a little surprised they didn't play it earlier, but now Team Liquid's got the Bob champ.
Bringing her into the LCS. We'll see what Haeri can do. And I mean, I think for Team Liquid in general, as much as we're all looking forward to all the Static Shiv plays across the day, I do want to talk a little bit more about Pyosik and Summit specifically and how they're able to perform last week. We saw Summit give the shades of color that we've seen when he has been an MVP, when he has been at the top of the league. Oh, we get new Ivern, Kobe.
All right, Ivern got the changes. So Ivern's been sitting at like 54, 55% win rate as well for jungle. I'm excited to see what Contractz can do, because now you give on-hit damage to anybody that goes into your brush for your teammates as well. The shielding play style, I'm assuming this is going jungle, by the way. You can play it in solo lanes. We'll leave that at a much smaller percentage chance of happening. But as the picks keep going here, one of the biggest downsides to Ivern is your first clear is very vulnerable to invades, because you get very low. You have to spend a bunch of your health to be able to channel on your early camps, and you don't instantly get those camps due to the nature of the champion. So if someone comes and invades from strong solo lane members with an aggressive jungler, they can just take away what you've already sacrificed HP for, and Ivern is very bad at going and answering opposite side opposite jungle quadrant clears. So you can only, you can only ensure when you have smite up that you can steal one away from enemy territory. So that's always the biggest difficulty with Ivern is early clears. And if your opponents get aggressive early on, they start attacking you, taking away your camps, and especially if they have high damage champs that can just jump to the back line and kill you, like Kennen and LeBlanc. So I do think this is going to be, could be a difficult game for Contractz, assuming he's going to be the one piloting the Ivern, but I'm very hyped to see it pop up here.
I think that's probably one of the picks that most were looking forward to when coming into this week. 13.12, knowing that Ivern was in play, but Team Liquid going for a classic, and Vi has been in the meta for quite some time now, giving Pyosik some agency to maybe punish Contractz in the early game and take advantage of some of those weaknesses that you were just pointing out, Kobe. But then also having the strength of Kennen in top, the second game of Kennen for Summit this split.
Yeah, I went pretty heavy on the weaknesses of Ivern. Guess what? The strengths are actually in Daisy, because Daisy just got turbo juiced with a lot of the buffs. Quicker attack speed, more damage, more tanky as well. Pretty hard to kill her. Your Ivern can just send the Daisy at you with the shield on top, and she will beat you down. So do not underestimate Daisy in the boxing matches. But as we keep on going through here, bending out the Dhokla that we just saw, with the Static Shiv variation from Gory in the last game. Doesn't want to get it answered there for the LeBlanc either. Meanwhile, continuing towards bottom lane focus here. Banning away the Rakan from Team Liquid, from CoreJJ. He's always been one of those big engage champion players as well from the bottom lane. Maybe he even decides to take up the Rell. Definitely a possibility from him. And since NRG have taken the Ivern as a shielding enchanter in a different role, they don't have to take an enchanter as support, and that's good on this patch because both Lulu and Yuumi were heavily nerfed.
It's definitely what the patch was trying to enable, not always having to auto-lock into the same enchanter.
Ooh, Tristana Rell, that is a good kill combo.
All the jumping in. Really be able to blast him down. Just a hover for now, though. Just a hover. We'll see if Team Liquid decide to commit, because you've got the...
Do it. It's a CoreJJ classic, even back when he played all the way with Tactical. So, yes. So we do get the Rell at least. I think we should be able to get the Trist. Something to look for kills. Some sort of kill lane here. And by the way, the Kaisa has been gaining popularity. It was played in Europe. With the Static Shiv variation mid lane, so just about that extra Kaisa pickup there for energy. That is going to be the mid lane Kaisa, AP Static Shiv mid lane Kaisa. I believe it was VTO who played it into Perks LeBlanc in the mid lane, answering the Static Shiv for Static Shiv here.
Okay.
With the Kaisa, so
lots of static shiv action, but a lot of changes in this draft compared to previous ones as well. Samira getting locked in as the last pick for Team Liquid.
It's fun, okay? Yeah, there's some broken stuff floating around, but making it exciting. We're getting some new champs here.
Yes.
Samira bottom lane with the Rell. That's even more exciting than that Tristana. Woo. And that is the true classic kill lane, bottom lane. Samira Rell. That is definitely going to make Aphelios' life very, very dangerous and difficult here. So yeah, as I was kind of setting up when they first locked in the Ivern here for Contractz, looks like a very scary game to play Ivern because your Sion will likely not have lane priority, could get invaded there. Your bottom lane is going to be under kill pressure threat. So we'll definitely keep track of the early clear for him and how they deal with this. I do have faith though, the Kaisa counter into the LeBlanc static shiv matchup in mid lane did win in Europe, so excited to see it get pulled out here as well.
All right, Team Liquid and NRG following some of the trends of the shifting meta that we have gotten a taste of in other regions and are now about to do exactly that here in the LCS.
Ivern jungle, LCS extravaganza. Ignar on his Alistar as well. Ignar was always touted as one of these really sneaky supports that would look for very long flank angles, wandering through enemy territory to find surprise engages. So Alistar definitely a champion that will speak to his original nature. Team Liquid bringing 5 here to go towards the Kaisa though. Palafox does get out of that sometimes dangerous brush. If you don't respect it and you hover too much up on that wrong side, people can jump on you. Got to give yourself enough distance to be able to see them coming in, and this is what I'm talking about. If you get some early vision on Ivern, let's track Pyosik and see how he tries to take advantage, because really helps to see the early clear outs from him. Those early channeled camps are so vulnerable because Ivern does have to hurt himself to start them.
Team Liquid really want to make Contractz' 300th game of his career hell, and are trying to make sure they can catch out that information right on the top side. But we'll have to see how Contractz ends up responding.
All right, I'm assuming he'll full channel the blue quadrant, then go grab his red with the smite, and then come on back to protect, make sure nothing gets invaded too early on. He doesn't want to let his bottom lane become the weak side of the map. So he's going to be seen on that Raptor ward. If he goes through the Raptor brush, he's going to have to hug. He knows the exact placement of the ward, so he's going to have to hug top side. All right, he's not going to try and avoid the ward. Just goes straight to Raptor's red. Should smite up the red. And then I would definitely get back down to the other side of the camps instead of going to channel Krugs, but see if he goes. Okay, good. He's not going for the full channel. Even though they did slightly buff up what Krugs will give you as Ivern, because the original variation was that you would miss out on all the value from the mini Krugs, and so they tried to compensate him a little bit. By the way, another part of the changes, which you just saw demonstrated there by Contractz, you should be spamming your Q in the jungle to these camps, because when you hit stuff, it is going to reduce it 50% there for your jungle camp. So travel speed when you're jungling means a lot and can really quicken your clear speed here.
A nice early game lesson on Ivern from Kobe here with Contractz, bringing him into the LCS, and definitely paying close attention to those micro decisions, right? Okay, they see me on this ward, so let me not go the obvious way. Let me go a bit more safely back into my bottom side of the jungle. But Palafox, SpaghettiOs flashes nicely. Still in the brush for now. Haeri's in trouble.
Really good job by Palafox fighting his way out of that one. If you try and just run the other way, then you're going to get chased down, chain, and Q flash from Pyosik. But he fights his way out. He goes on LeBlanc. He pops Haeri's passive. He uses the extra minion wave that he's working with to push up, and then he flashes that by Q. Contractz walking right in. He's got the level lead, but he is just Ivern, and Pyosik's able to Q out over the top of the wall. But in the end, it's still valuable for Team Liquid. Even though they're not able to get the kill here, their return possibilities are insane on this Kaisa. And you're going to have to invest a lot in vision around mid lane now for Contractz. Try and get some support for Palafox.
Oh, we talked about that kill bottom lane, and Team Liquid are pulling the trigger. Ignar off the back of FBI wants to put his body between TL and the rest. So keeping in it, everyone's still holding on to their summoners thus far.
And this is what we expect from the draft from Team Liquid. The aggressive lanes trying to burn summoner spells early on. Mid lane gets the flash out of the Kaisa early. Now they have to worry about ganks towards mid repeating, have to expend their vision efforts here, trying to keep him safe. Palafox drops 2 of his own, and Contractz has one as well. Meanwhile, top side, it looks like that is a dead Dhokla.
First blood. Summit gonna feel good about that one with the assistance of Pyosik to really kick things off and take advantage of the tank on the top side. But on the bot side, NRG want to make the plays on Team Liquid. Yeon has to expel both summoners on the retreat.
Yeah, pretty sick there when the Ivern Q allows Ignar to just jump right in. And here's the repeat gank chain into Q.
On Palafox getting rooted across mid, knows that he's in trouble with this 2v1. All the while, NRG cannot follow up past the rest of their play on this bot side.
So Gabby, that Team Liquid early game looking pretty good, staying on pace, and especially when your draft is looking like this. That's why I was saying it's probably a really hard Ivern game when all your lanes will be under attack. You've got a mid lane Kaisa who only has flash to try and deal with LeBlanc, Vi combinations there, and you've only got 1 flash, so they pop that one early. They remain aggressive in mid lane. They also even attack the top lane and kill off the Sion lane that's been getting harassed by Summit all game long. So even better than expected from Team Liquid with a lot of the early aggression, and they haven't even opened up anything on bottom side of the map yet. Yeon using all of his summoner spells, CoreJJ using his Ignite as well. Maybe NRG can have some sort of saving grace here since Contractz did go bottom side and tried to help them out. They got the double summoner spells off the bottom lane early. Maybe they can turn around that aggressive duo on them.
Yeah, but even with that, Team Liquid, they're making sure to keep those wards up across Riverside as well. When they're pushing forward, extending their pressure as much as they possibly can, all the while those solo lanes holding it down. I mean, as you said, Kobe, I think Team Liquid pretty happy with how things go thus far in the early game. And now at 6.5 minutes, that Dragon's been hanging around. You've got some of the control warding push up from Team Liquid as well in case NRG try to sneak that away.
Yeah. As we progress in the game, if NRG are able to stabilize here, then they will have a beefier front line. They will have opportunities to try and mark these flankers from Team Liquid, mark that Kennen, try and keep him out from devastating the back line. You can't actually keep Vi out. Vi will go where she pleases, but the rest of them, they can try and keep track of. Contractz does steal away the red at least here, and getting that critical level 6 for Ivern, so you get Daisy. Huge amount of the power of the champion right now is in Daisy. So level 6 is a very big spike for Contractz. Don't even need an item, just need that ability and instantly go start up the dragon.
So making sure to control the neutral objective on that bot side, using the brush as well, as you tend to see around here for that additional coverage against any Team Liquid vision or prodding. And also the goldie that Team Liquid was starting to extend, NRG making sure to neutralize it as much as possible with the farm evening up across the mid lane. And then you don't mind Dhokla too much being on a little bit of a deficit on that top side, but different advantages created. Good response from NRG.
Yeah, when people talk about, oh yeah, you know, top laners, low econ, things like Sion, never mind, we're gonna have the engage.
Oh, Ignar is the first one to take the brunt of the damage. Daisy coming in alongside Contractz, but NRG are forced to group back up on their side of the lane. Just the 3v3.
Respect the Daisy in the brush. Looks like they're just gonna ride back off here though. Team Liquid able to get aggressive and not use anything there. Daisy cooldown here expended for Contractz. She does last quite a long time, so it's not over instantly, but might need that one back. Team Liquid, all they have to do now is kind of wait it out on the level 1, and then they can just go right back to being aggressive. Haeri here on the LeBlanc gets to shove up on mid lane since Palafox already uses teleport. They've both already gone for their recalls, and Pyosik will use that timing window. Mid lane push, minion waves advantage are for you, so your LeBlanc is here. Means you should be able to get the objective.
I'm pulling that objective focus for Team Liquid to take this Rift Herald, and when you're able to get something like Daisy out of Contractz, it also means buying all the more time for Yeon to get his summoners back up. Flash with not that much longer, already has Cleanse once more. So Team Liquid can not only continue to play aggressively, but with more safety.
All right, Rift Herald in the hands of Pyosik 2. That first Rift Herald is such a power spike for junglers. So much local gold on it, plus being able to share on the turret plates that you're able to take with it, which I assume will either be bottom lane or mid lane. Definitely does go a long way if you're able to take away mid turret. It's pretty hard to do with so many resources usually being expended to defend it, but definitely would be a very, very big advantage for them to be able to blow open, because already they've got side lanes under control. Summit EC on top side, continuing to bully Dhokla. And kind of what we were talking about earlier, when it's okay for like the Sion player to be down. He's like, fine, I'm still a tank. I'm still going to be building up tank items. But it does matter who you're giving the money to on the kill credit, because it might be a problem for the rest of your team. If you're okay on low econ, it might not be okay if Summit is going to be a very rich Kennen, or if Pyosik will be a very rich Vi getting the kills up on top side. And Summit is going with the static shiv Kennen. More lightning with your lightning. I heard you liked lightning. 3 more stacks on his cull. And we are going to have at least 3 static shivs in this game. Maybe we'll get a surprise bonus one.
What do you think?
Buy 3, get 1 free, maybe?
Yeah. What's the top number of static shivs that you expect to see in one game?
I mean, top, if you want to set the ceiling, I would go lofty and be like 5. But I don't think that's likely. I think 3 will be average.
Oh, that's my stat that I want to track all week. Most important one in my opinion.
How much static?
How
Look at that.
static.
Palafox, boom, wave gone. You'll love to see it. They can just rotate with the rest of the team now. Daisy's back up for Contractz, so they still want to play around this bottom side of the map. The focus here for NRG has not changed. They got the first dragon, so even though they're down a large amount of gold, they're doing their best to keep the vision, and now Palafox going big. That was aggressive. He does get the flash out of Pyosik, but no Kaisa ultimate now.
Oh, that was decent amount of damage rain through with that ultimate activated, and hey, at least a jungler with no flash.
Yeah, sometimes you like to send a message to that jungler too. That's for ganking me. I will not hesitate to ult in on you. You get your static Shiv proc. Again, a lot of these champions that we see utilizing the Shiv very effectively have some way to charge it up quickly, the dashes. And so Palafox able to get a large amount of burst damage out there on him. And then, of course, the other part is building into AP afterwards, which Kaisa has no problem doing. You can become the W monster.
And I think Palafox in general, being on a champion like this, after all the hype generated around him as a mid laner, kind of considered underrated in some regards. If you can get some opportunities to pop off, right now you got to just pop this Shelly though.
Get her,
before it gets the
nice.
charge. Nice. Energy preventing the charge from the Team Liquid Rift Herald.
Ignar doing his part with his Daisy, or his Shelly defense here, keeping her off the tower, out of charge range for just long enough. They have enough damage. Contractz is there with the smite. They burn it down. They deny those plates. And NRG doing what they need here. Try and stabilize, reduce the losses, minimize any losses you have in this early stage from Team Liquid, and try and get to your team fights later where you can try and make use of the synergies here of Ivern buffing up these 2 AD carry champions. And it looks like they're going to Blast Cone, go for a play, but Dragon's already been started and is at 50%.
4 members of Team Liquid already on it. Daisy, the first to enter the pit.
He got it!
It goes in, but Contractz making sure to get the secure. Multiple knocks up onto Team Liquid. But the pull through from the Magnet Storm and the slicing maelstrom follow from Summit means there's no more Contractz, but no more Summit either. FBI right there in the crosshairs of Yeon, who wants to make him a pawn in his own game. Dhokla obliterated as well. Team Liquid lose the dragon, but they get the fight.
Oh, yes, they do. They get that fight all right, and they smash the fight. Rell, CoreJJ, eventually gets the engage. The Daisy actually keeps him off for quite a while. Look at Haeri, he goes in, he gets a chunk onto Contractz, the ultimate and the Q up here onto Pyosik, trying to keep him out, but then CoreJJ into the Kennen engage, chunks them really low. Haeri can go in for the distortion. He gets the flash and he gets the first kill for them. And by that time, your Samira has charged up the S rank. So Yeon gets to finish all off. Clean up duty for him. And Team Liquid wipe NRG off of the face of Summoner's Rift. NRG got the smite. Contractz got it. He did indeed get the smite on the dragon, but the gold lead has now increased to 4.2 thousand for Team Liquid off the back of those kills.
That's a lot of gold, Kobe. That's a lot of gold. Bounties on both Pyosik and Yeon after that play. So couple dragon stacked for NRG, but we'll see what else they can do with it now that Team Liquid is becoming more and more ferocious.
All right, Samira did have to use her flash to do that as well, but now she's got the Dust Blades, so you can get that untarget ability as well. It's so nice with this champion. And we'll see about the rotation up to the top side. Both teams answering top side here with the spawn of second Rift Herald, but with Team Liquid, with all the extra money that they have, should still have priority. They've got Haeri on bottom side with teleport ready, and Dhokla does not have teleport. So NRG probably just stabilize and farm here. If Sion wanted to come, he'd have to walk a ways and then ult up. It is doable, but it's not going to be as quick as Haeri. And Haeri can get into the pocket of Fog of War. It's like they're contesting for now, but it's definitely dangerous.
You saw that burst initially onto Ignar before shielding up, and Contractz made sure to pop Daisy. Daisy always being the first one to try to create that space. And from the brush, will they make a play? Not so much. Team Liquid just keeping that line of separation.
Daisy got one!
Oh, right there in the back. Pyosik had to flash out and dash over the wall.
I'm telling you, don't mess with Daisy, okay? Daisy is a beast now. Daisy's watching that Rift-tailed eyeball.
Just trying to guard it as much as possible.
And they deny it.
Oh,
nobody got in there. Nobody could get past Daisy to get to the eyeball.
When you think about what Team Liquid is going for, wanting to have this power early on, they're building this strength, get money onto the right people. And the first Rift Herald doesn't crash into mid. NRG prevents it. The second one can't grab the eye. NRG just making that face at him. So that's one way to offset the advantages that TL were attempting to build.
Yeah, fair enough. We can go the cope angle for NRG and be like, they also have two dragons.
Yeah,
so
they got two.
They've minimized the losses, even though they haven't been able to get the Rift Heralds. They've minimized the Rift Herald losses while yoinking some dragons for themselves. The bad part is that the gold lead is going to mean that it is very dangerous for them to actually take any of these fights, since Team Liquid have so much damage in this comp. And they have really good engage with CoreJJ and Vi. Rell plus Vi is extremely difficult to counter engage, and then once you have that, it sets up for Summit to come through on the Kennen ultimate. Currently he's been flanked on though.
Eyes from multiple members of NRG, the unstoppable onslaught. Collapse upon Summit. The rest of NRG were ready to collapse as well if needed from mid, but no intervention is necessary. Summit falls and will be down for 30 seconds.
Yeah, good pick onto the top side play here for NRG. They were probably going to lose that bottom tower anyway, so they decide to try and get something cross-map play here. I always like to see that when you're looking at the losing teams. Try and make your cross-map play while your opponent is grabbing something on bottom side, even if you know you're going to have to overload and lose that on the bottom side. And here they go again. 3 members to the top side. Distortion down for Haeri.
NRG continue to commit to this, and Haeri with no way to escape just follows knockup after knockup, passive pops. In the grave he goes, but Summit here for the collapse. Teleport response from NRG, but Palafox goes down before assistance is had. It does not matter though, the damage is good from FBI from the backline. Yeon falling on into it, but FBI and Ignar now have been sandwiched between multiple members of Team Liquid. They reverse the damage, they pull another kill.
Yep, Dhokla's trying to finish something back under the tower, but he's not going to be able to get Summit. And it started out actually good for NRG with another overload on top side of the map, map play there. But then the comms, as the reinforcements from Team Liquid get here, kind of go awry. So take a look at it. They make the dive, they get the kill onto Haeri, but the teleport is at the same time the rest of the Team Liquid reinforcements are coming. And so they go in, they isolate Palafox with the Vi plus the Kennen ultimates. They get the kill here, and even though they trade, Dhokla goes for the tower dive while the reinforcements from TL got here. So in the backline, Yeon is chopping up Contractz and Ignar, charges up his ultimate, gets his Dust Blade proc as well, and gets to wipe them. I think the call from NRG had to be more clear in, hey, we just got our pick on the LeBlanc. Do not continue with more dangerous dive. Take the W here, try and back out and fight our way through the reinforcements from Team Liquid that are inevitably coming. You don't have vision on them right now, but you know they're not on the rest of the map, and they've got to be coming up towards your way. You know, if they had their tank line back and was actually going tank line first through the tri-brush to get the team out of that scenario, then they wouldn't have given Yeon such a nice, clear route into stacking up and wiping them with ult again.
How long NRG had been playing around that top side gave that intel to Team Liquid to go ahead, make that rotation happen, and with NRG always having to remember as well, the bot lane being new to this roster, sometimes it takes time with the team fight communication. We'll see if they can develop some consistency there across this game and others, now making their stand around Baron to establish some of the vision here.
All right, trying to get that important vision around Baron secured, at least 6,000 gold lead, and your dragon stacking has been significantly slowed down, especially in the face of the big gold lead and how difficult it's going to be to fight. So yeah, NRG, they know a little bit of biding your time now, trying to keep the important vision up. Maybe you'll be able to jump on the opportunity that does present itself. Ignar always has the possibility of weaseling his way into some pocket of fog of war to find a crazy flank. Sometimes he does get scouted out and caught in those scenarios, but in games like this where you're so far behind anyway, definitely could be a big benefit, trying to find those picks, trying to find those angles.
And Team Liquid pick up another tower for themselves, now cracking open those side lanes. Just as you were saying, NRG, they can't really step up to a lot of these progressions forward. They're having to make sure that they don't give over any unnecessary deaths while Team Liquid have the gold lead, while they have control over the vision with the control wards they have established over on this top side. So NRG having kind of that delayed response, venturing through as a unit to try and reestablish some of that vision for themselves. But it is a difficult battle that they face against Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's always hard being down side lane turrets also. Team Liquid, they easily push out these side waves and are able to come back without giving any extra territory to NRG. And so they always can then have somebody in mid lane help them out clear. And if Team Liquid can focus on setting up for the next pick, all they need is one more to really blow the game open. Because one thing that Team Liquid are missing, they don't have a lot of range, so they don't have great siege to end out the mid turret. You can't really deal with that mid turret defense as a short range comp without getting a significant pick or drawing your opponent somewhere else on the map first. And so that's why you see Team Liquid trying to fish around first. They put down some vision through, travel through the fog of war, see if they can get any flanks off, try and find some kills first, then hopefully finish off the last 50% of that mid turret and really take over the map.
See those hooks thrown, the worms trying to serve as the bait, you know, they're all just fishing, hey, NRG, you want to try and come so we can try and get a pick on you? They tried to go for that collapse on Palafox, but he was able to back in time, setting up around Baron to draw the attention of NRG, but NRG are definitely not falling for it as they continue to remain grouped up and focus on pushing these waves towards that line of scrimmage and kind of that neutral zone so they can start moving across this map a bit more effectively.
Yep, NRG defensive game, keep up the vision here around Baron, just make sure that you don't give up anything for free. And they've actually done a decent job juggling the side waves here, dealing with the extra pressure. It's going to be ill-advised for them to go try and contest the Drake when the Drake comes up in 50 seconds. Luckily for NRG, they did get the first two, so this one is not too scary for Team Liquid to get another one and should just be able to give it up unless there's some like surprise Alistar combo engage with Dhokla coming through, and they can have a very, very advantageous setup to the fight. 'Cause that's what you need. You need a really big advantage right at the beginning, picking someone off or having a big mispositioning error from Team Liquid to expose someone and get some big cooldowns.
Yeah, because it's been pretty tranquil since both of these teams clashed over on that top side, and then Team Liquid was able to grab that dragon to break the stacking of energy. It took away some of that urgency with which they needed to rotate towards that bot side objective. But for now, I want to see if NRG can make a play happen. Ignar, for so long, has been noted for his ability to engage, but we haven't seen it for a bit of time. Oh, here's the attempt. Pyosik has to flash over the wall after going in, but Ignar taking about half his damage to Team Liquid, attempts to flash out and does remain alive. FBI having already used the Moonlight Vigil. NRG are lacking on some of their damage, but have Daisy to continue putting that space between NRG and the rest of Team Liquid. But everyone is still up. The dragon is up. The jungler is nearby from Team Liquid as NRG attempting to keep themselves in this.
Yeah, NRG, they don't lose any players, but they lost all of their ultimates. So one ultimate from Team Liquid. Okay, now they lost players too.
Yeah, Haeri over the wall and absolutely annihilates FBI. And now Team Liquid, they put a gate at every single entrance to this river, and NRG don't even try to pick the lock. Team Liquid pop off for their second dragon.
Static Shiv LeBlanc. You pop minion waves, you also still pop AD carries. That's the benefit.
Electricity, the I guess strongest element.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, I mean, it's just a control ward over the wall, the river wall. Simple combo too. Nothing too fancy about that. As long as you get your one auto in there. Completely destroys the enemy AD carry. No flash time there for FBI either. Just goes down. They give up the dragon as well in the back of it. Again, though, Team Liquid, they don't have the range that you would have if you went with the Tristana Rell, as Tristana gets more levels and would start to increase her range. So it's constantly going to still be Team Liquid looking for these.
Oh, Ignar has to pop the ultimate, and Contractz knocked up out of it. Haeri gets the kill. Dhokla TPing in, but can't really make anything happen with Team Liquid just yet. NRG, they lose their jungler, so Team Liquid, without that smite threat, they make their way over towards that Baron.
All right, double buff LeBlanc here too. Ignar Hex flashes in and...
the damage, Kobe. It hurts when your cow gets partially slaughtered before they can even really make use of his entrance. Team Liquid just burning down this Baron. They'll be wearing purple in no time.
All right, that's going to give you the pushing power. No range needed when you do have that Baron buff. The power that you get with just the minions pushing up, and then you can poke around too. LeBlanc at level 16 with double buffs and Static Shiv is a poke champion, especially with Night Harvester, because your Static Shiv proc, you proc it off the minions, bounce it to a player. It will proc your Night Harvester passive as well, so you get the extra damage there.
Palafox knows that he's outnumbered, so has to pop the ultimate just to be able to escape.
Okay, so he escapes with his life. Nice little move, almost able to get CoreJJ. A little fancy with it. They defend on mid and top. They did eventually lose the outer tower on mid, but that one was going down no matter what here with the power of the Baron. And they're just going to be able to reset. NRG, 10,000 gold deficit now that they're staring down, but they're still just trying to squeak out any little bits of gold value for their carries for themselves. Continue to try and play defensively. They know Team Liquid are lacking true siege potential, true range, so they're trying to just hover around their towers, protect them as long as they can, and they're really telling each other, okay, we got to play for late.
Yeah.
We got to play for late. It will even out eventually. Try and weather the storm.
Yeah, that range, that's why, even though Team Liquid have already taken down all the outer turrets, they are very slow in their progression forward. because of that lack of range, because of energy. Trying to go for picks like this one. CoreJJ falling into some trouble, but has the shielding, and Yeon rooted on the entry. FBI had to flash out of it because he's almost done. In fact, though, it's both bot laners eliminated at this point. Haeri trying to escape over the wall, but cannot do so. Palafox putting in the work while the teleport comes in from Team Liquid's side. Pyosik coming out of stasis. Palafox knocked on down by Summit. Dhokla, big beefy boy. Summit keep going after him, but it's Ignar that's got Pyosik and CoreJJ holding him by the horns, and Team Liquid say 4 is enough. We win the fight.
Yeah, exactly. And now, guess what? Nobody to defend the towers, so they can just go in with their Baron buff.
What they've been waiting for.
The real rewards here, all of the towers. They've got plenty of kills. Don't need more of those. Time to take the towers after you wipe them off. 2 more towers, the benefit there. Plus, Summit got the top side, so actually 3 towers. The reason why this looks interesting at the beginning, you're like, ooh, energy. They're really making this one actually look interesting and look good for themselves with the pick, is because Summit stays top side. Look at the Kennen on your minimap to finish the top tower as well. So he finishes the top tower now, and then he's going to look for his teleport to come in after they trade. Pyosik went in to try and finish as well. Haeri eventually pops Contractz, and then Palafox is able to ult back out. But then once Summit arrives and you get all 5 members of Team Liquid, then, of course, they do still win the team fight, and they got the 3 secondary towers for themselves. So they increase their territory lead, as well as being able to set up now for Dragon number 3. Another Cloud Dragon to go with the first 2.
The 5,000 damage from Palafox wasn't enough for energy to be able to take the fight. Can they take this one? Pyosik goes into the back line with his ultimate, and FBI, so much damage lost. Dhokla already taken out. Team Liquid won't let anyone slip away in these fights. Yeon, once he comes out of golden stasis, he's here to join Team Liquid on their push down mid lane. Summit, my God, coming in through with the clutch in these team fights. Contractz, I don't think that your brush is enough to hold them off.
Yeah, they don't even care about minions. They're just going to go right on in and try and look for an end on this one. They do have a teleport for Haeri, so...
yeah,
like
Team Liquid.
Going to stay there and finish it off now.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time before the whole team of energy comes up. Team Liquid, 4th dub of the split. They are streaking hot, hot, hot in the summertime.
TL on top, number 1 team. Temporarily, until Cloud9 plays as well.
But bask in that glory while you can. It feels pretty good.